right. Select broadcast and start streaming. Speak, Chris, real quick.
Hello, hello.
That is not coming through there. That's why.
Let me just pull up the Pokemon. I knew when we went late the other night that there was no way Tuna was going to be here. Now I can't hear you. Nope. Is it muted?
Hey, testing.
There we go.
It like literally just for no reason. Like nothing got unplugged, nothing got muted. It was just like Microsoft isn't being picked up. Microphone. All right, we're good.
All right. Hello, and welcome to the 372nd episode of the Unranked podcast. I am Christian Humes here with Thomas Caswell today. Tom, welcome to the show.
Why did you decide to put you threw me for a ringer by putting those glasses on last minute there?
Well, Tom, everything has to be content, right? I felt like if I popped these bad boys on ahead of the show, we wouldn't have
it wouldn't there'd be no reaction, I know, I gotcha.
And then we'd be recapping the events.
Right.
Tom,
are those new? Is that a new pair?
Brand new. Just got them. Got a whole bunch of new contacts. I during the pandemic, I never went to an eye doctor because why would you?
You don't need to see shit.
No, but it was just like, so what I did was before my prescription came up on Hubble, which they were like honoring prescriptions for like an extra 6 months at one point, like because, pandemic, I just bought like 2 years of contacts through them.
Okay.
Before my full year was up. So I basically haven't had a new prescription or seen an eye doctor in like 3 years since pre-pandemic. And then I went and my doctor was like, you're wearing these Hubble contacts is fucking trash. He goes, don't wear these. Because you want to know why they're so cheap? I was like, why? He goes, because this is what we were putting in people's eyes 20 years ago.
Oh my God.
He was like, here, put these in. I put them in. I was like, oh my God, you can't even feel these. They're so thin. He was like, yeah, that's what everyone says. Don't wear that shit anymore.
What's in the corner of is that the screen bending on your right lens?
This one?
Yeah.
Like this one?
No. The other one. There's like something.
They got fogged up because
that's
breathed.
Weird.
I exhaled when I
that was crazy. It was like so. There you go.
Or maybe they were actually still foggy from the shower because I jumped in the shower right before we did this.
Anyway, So what? You got actual good.
Turns out my old prescription was wrong. Also, my right eye had been 2 points. So I was minus 2.75 in the left, minus 3.25 in the right. So I had a stronger prescription on the right. He was like, "Yeah, your eyes are exactly the same."
Wow.
I put on the like test prescription. I was like, oh wow, this is This is nice.
So much better.
I thought that my eyes were getting worse because I was like, I don't know. I feel like I should be able to read things that I can't. And it was like, no, your eyes are fine. Your prescription was bad.
Gotcha. Yeah, there was one. This isn't the same thing, but like, I forget what movie it was, but we were going to the movies and Brooke brings her glasses, and I look at the glasses, and I'm like, oh my god, these are so dirty. I was like, here, give them to me. Like, I just breathe on them, like use my shirt to rub, the thing. Gave them back to her. And she put them on. She was like, oh my god. Oh my god, I can see things. I was like, I can't believe you've just been going around with this. Like, this is so bad. It's so funny because, yeah, you don't even give me that look. You're lucky to have me around. If you be bumping into things left and right. What was I gonna say? A part of me is like, oh, I look good with glasses. Like, I wouldn't mind if I had to start wearing them because they're a great fashion accessory. Like, they really are.
Yeah.
But
won't lie,
but
Tom.
then
There's a small part of me that decided to start wearing glasses again because if I get laser vision next year, like I'm thinking about, then I might just keep wearing these with, like, I might just
fake
put like
lenses or whatever.
Yeah, fake lenses, which I know makes people really mad, and I like to just adopt stupid character traits like that because why not?
I feel like as a previous glasses wearer, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've always worn them. I just haven't in the last few years because my prescription was junk. Plus, I actually had two pairs of glasses. One that was like I didn't like. I used the Warby Parker app to like try them on.
Okay.
And when I got them, I was like, these are actually pretty ugly, and then never sent them back. So that was the only pair I'd been down to for years. Was like this pair that I really hated.
There we go. Well,
you want to do
with those glasses, you can see the newest Pokemon better.
Yes, again, the 372nd Pokemon. Can you tell me what he's called?
It's Sheldon, which after learning the new information I learned about Bagon last week, this Pokemon makes a whole lot more sense. That is not his hair. It is like a shell, a protective bone exoskeleton layer.
Yeah.
And I guess it grows enough for it to like cocoon it.
Yeah, it wraps around him.
What's going on here?
You know what I think is interesting about this too? I kind of like the gray and the red that he's got going on his coloring. That is not the
sure.
It almost makes me wish Bagon was gray instead of blue. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, I don't know why it is the way it is, but I don't yeah. It's just one of those things where I get it, it's cocoon, like I get it, especially I get a lot I get a lot more, but that's the thing is like all these mid stages that are like this transformational, it isn't a cocoon, or it is like it's not, we didn't go from like
ugly ducking stage too.
We go from like Bagon. I think I would like this evolutionary line a lot more if it was like we had Bagon, because here's the thing, this could have been a fix for the Dragonite Dratini Dragonite line, right? Because Bagon to Salamence, I see those two, which is next week's, and I'm like, yeah, that is a first stage and that is a third stage. We could have had some cool middle stage, slightly bigger Bagon, slightly a bit more like gone from baby Pokemon design to like rooting teenager design, and then we got Salamence, right?
Yeah.
But I get what they're going with Sheldon, having it be this cocoon thing, but I'm never gonna put this thing in a battle. I'm never putting that out there to have a fight. Unless it's got good stats.
It's a dragon type. The stats are fine. Stats are fine. They're mid stats, but it is dragon type. However, level 50 is when it evolves to its final, so it's not that late. So you're gonna throw it in battle because you want to get Salamence. Yeah. You don't want to be waiting on XP share to get you there. You want to at least be popping it in the front, switching out to your main
Well, now in the Pokemon games, you have those when you do like the raids and stuff, you get those like
Yep.
different candies, and you
candies, yeah.
can level
Yeah.
motherfuckers up
I
super quick now.
greatly appreciate the effort they've gone to make leveling and capturing Pokemon less tedious in the new games.
I agree. And I you know, I
That's
get
why I completed the decks.
there are some people out there who think it's blasphemy to have XP share be something that you is like default. Like I don't even think you can turn it off anymore. Like it used to be a
Honestly,
thing.
I understand that it's because they come from a place. I'm trying to fix this whole like lighting situation that I got now.
Yeah,
with these
it's going
glasses.
right in your eyes. It's gonna burn. It's gonna do the LASIK for you.
Yeah. People want some level of difficulty out of Pokemon. This just isn't the franchise for it. It's just not going to really happen. It's like if Pokemon was concerned about these games having like a balanced difficulty, then quite frankly, you wouldn't be able to battle against trainers with 6 Pokemon when they have 2 or 1. You know, like they're very easy fixes they could do. I will say the newest game had so many hard Pokemon to fight against, high level Pokemon that were wild, and like high level trainers that were all over the place, that I mean, it was the first time it made sense to have XP share, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a proponent for XP share. You won't see me complain about XP share.
Yeah.
It's just something that people.
It's the Nuzlocke, folks. It's
the Nuzz.
I'm all for options. Put it in option to turn it off for the people that don't want it on. Great, do it. Yeah, that's fine.
Pokemon would be there are a couple of games coming out that have some really awesome I mean they fall under accessibility, but they really are great just options for people in general that might not even need them, but it is and I would love to see more features like that come to Pokemon, because I think if you just gave the people to tweak the experience to the level that they wanted at, like everyone would just like have a win time. People that want the challenge can have the challenge. People that want to just complete the decks as fast as possible and breeze through it, So anyway, back to Sheldon. Pretty.
Yeah, why don't you tell me about that name origin?
I mean, it may be a combination of the word shell and dragon.
Shut the fuck up, Tom. No way.
Yeah. We should start doing the Japanese ones, because the Japanese ones are always more interesting. So
well, I like to include them whenever there's like especially clarity needed.
Sure. This one is Komaru, which is Komaru, which means to seclude oneself, and Ryu, which is a Japanese for dragon. So that's cool.
Oh, that is pretty cool. I like that. It is different. It is different meaning. Yeah. Especially because in some ways it's not really a shell, unless I guess it is. It's like bone though, right?
Yeah, I mean it's
bone shell.
It's the same bones and shells. Aren't they like the same chemical components? Like,
I'll be honest, Tom, I don't even pretend to know.
Yeah, let's Google.
Are they both like
are shells and bones the same?
I like an eggshell. I don't know.
How? Oh wow. No, it's too much for me to get into right now.
All right, well let's take a look at
any science people can tell us. Let's
take a look at a Pokedex.
Go into the Discord,
and then we'll get off this fucking Pokemon.
Okay,
because the real star of the show is next week anyway. Pokemon Emerald says it hardly eats while it awaits evolution. It becomes harder by enduring hunger. Its shell peels off the instant it begins to evolve. So there you are. I like that it probably just kind of peels away like orange slices.
Yeah, it's great. It's good visual.
Ant-Man would like it.
It would be sick if we had that in the game, but it'll just probably like be absorbed by a ball of light, and then here's a Salamence.
Honestly, if the games can at least just get to the point where the anime is, where like the ball of light like takes their shape and morphs shape into the new Pokemon, I would count that as a massive win.
We're not even there. We're not even there. That's so funny.
We're not. We'll never be there. I mean, the whole turn to light, turn back kind of makes sense. I think the morphing way they do it in the anime is much better. But like when you consider that they can turn, into light and go into Pokeballs and all these other things that they can do, it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense because they don't otherwise. There is no fluid evolution. It's not like, oh, their horns start to come in. Oh, its wings started to sprout. It's like, no, you got fucking Sheldon, and then 5 seconds later,
But
you got fucking Salamence.
but that's how they describe the evolutions, like in this world. It is like, oh, and the
Yeah.
wings start sprouting and stuff. Like it would be cool. It would just be cool to see that. But
Yeah,
you
I
know, if
agree.
they said in the law, like, oh yeah, they're just made of light, they're pure energy, and then
Yeah.
every time they evolve, every Pokemon turns into a ball of energy and then comes out as a new thing. I'd be like, okay, cool. But the fact that that's how it is, but the descriptions are like, oh, its bones start breaking and then it grows new arms and all that shit. Like, anyway, just a litany of disappointments from
Mm-hmm.
where we wish the games would be to where they are. Yeah, let's move on. What have we been up to? We played a little. We've been talking about it for a while on the pod, and it's finally happened. We've played some Avatar
Oh my goodness, we
tabletop
did.
RPG. We
Yes,
played a
we did.
lot of it on Monday.
Yes, we did,
Holy
Wongers.
smokes. Wongers, yes, Wongers. You can so actually going forward, we're gonna be doing it. The first full actual installment of the story is gonna be this Sunday, around 10 p.m. Eastern. It's gonna be after Succession ends. So probably like 10:15. Replacing my regular just gaming stream. And yeah, it's going to be the first episode, what we did essentially, and you can actually go check out the I'm going to be putting up a condensed version of it somewhere before that we go into the first episode on Sunday. But if you want to see the full 5-hour extravaganza and learn the game with us, because I go through a pretty extensive presentation explaining the game to the guys, and then we played an hour and a half ish kind of prologue campaign entry. And yeah, I had a lot of fun, but I was the
Yeah.
game master. And what I'm very happy about is this fixed the issue I have been having with remote D&D, at least for me, which is, when you're doing remote D&D, you just kind of have to sit there when no one else is, when someone else is doing something. And when you're the game master, like you're just constantly involved, and you have a say in how the game goes, which is a lot of fun. So I had a ton of fun playing. What did you think about the experience?
I had a lot of fun. I was glad to see you have to experience what I did when I tried to, because if you remember when we started side quests, I mean, I think it was funny when you were explaining to Alex this, you were like, oh, well, it won't be like the ones that Chris threw together last minute. I'm like, well, no, I threw together a lot of them last minute because when I tried doing actual prepared D&D, none of you knew what the fuck you were doing, and it was a waste of my time.
Sure.
Because basically it just evolved into the three of you immediately just trying to make mega attacks every chance it was your turn, and nothing would happen. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm definitely not spending hours preparing anything anymore.
Yeah.
Which it was funny because Alex did a pretty decent job GMing when he threw one of those, one of those one shots. He did a pretty good job with that, but he still has the problem of remembering to be in the character, like in the scene. He just
Right.
tells you like he'll be like, all right, I'm gonna attack him. It's like, well, no, you have to go down there
Yeah.
and like say what you're doing and like
The
do the action.
Yeah,
And
so in the Avatar book, when I was like taking notes, it constantly has the phrase, if you want to do something, you have to do it. And in my head, I was like, I'm not writing that down as a note. Like, it's self-explanatory that you have to, like, we're playing a story here. You have to explain what your character is doing. But the number of times Tuna was like
yeah,
befuddled as to, he was like, but I just want to roll if I roll the dice and I get this result, then like boom, like we fight, or we,
and
whatever
I
it may
win.
be. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, yeah, but you have to explain what it is you're doing, because I have to construct the narrative around it.
I feel like by the end though, he had done a much better job. I feel like because Brooke's clearly done this before as well.
She plays every week.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think with Brooke and I, like it was a lot easier. And then
Brooke is almost too creative. because then
I
she
mean,
was trying. What was it? There was like a horse and carriage, and she was trying to like create like slopes and
she
then
was
control
very
the
much
carriage with
trying to
earth bending.
not have to enter
So
combat.
funny. Oh yeah, she
Was
likes
her
to
thing.
avoid
She was
avoid
very
confrontation
clearly
all
trying
times.
to not enter combat. And I was like, all right, how do I meet these two halfway? Was basically what I did throughout the thing. I'm like, how do I support both character actions here? Because they're going very different routes. And I have a feeling that's gonna be a lot of what this fucking thing is me trying to make, you know, what is gonna be two very different plans work because
and,
Alex picked the rogue, which
and
is very suitable.
one of the big differences, although Brooke is playing the bold, so there are a lot of character requirements. She has her character even has a unique list of tasks. Each character has a unique characteristic. So Chris has like the ability to learn. I think no. What is your special
I can
ability?
learn fucking anything. Like
Yeah,
I don't have to
you
be
play the
taught something.
prodigy.
If
You
there's a
can learn
move I
through
see
seeing
someone
it, right?
use and I'm capable of learning it, I can just adopt that move if I
Yeah.
want, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, your character has some really sweet tricks up its sleeve. But Brooke's like special characteristic is she has a list of like tasks, like almost like bucket list things. And if she accomplishes them, she can like trade them in to upgrade her character. And so there are literal, like, she is gonna have to kind of be bold and put herself out there. She actually did scratch one off the list, and I was worried. Again, we were kind of testing the game out, so as much as I wanted to cover the bases of everything, there is like so much that you can only like experience by playing continuously and like on, a bigger scale. But by the end, we had like you trying to do the guiding comforting move and you shifted Tuna's balance, which is a whole. There is no HP system in this game for people that aren't aware. It's replaced by where your character's balances between their different like personality traits and things like fatigue and conditions and stuff like
I
this.
felt like we needed a like moment amongst the characters that wasn't
Yeah,
about the combat. And I knew we were ending super late, but I was like, you know what? There's something that hasn't happened here that needs to be a part of like every episode. And that needs to be a part of like there needs to always be like a moment between the characters where something
like
is
a
happening.
goofy, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not about like let's get the mission, let's get the goal,
Yeah.
let's like they're because we have to exist in that world.
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely like what I have planned for Sunday, there's way more opportunity for that, right? Because it is this in my head. I mean, the the span of what this campaign would be was like 10 minutes. We took the hour and a bit to do this, whereas it was a test, right? And what we're going to do Sunday is going to be more of like an episode where we have like acts and things like this. But yeah, we had a ton of fun. All the characters are fantastic. Chris's waterbender is this really cool, unique waterbender. You'll learn about the mystery of
I'm gonna have
his
a new
origins.
updated thing for you because I'm making some changes. I'm also fleshing out because I created a location that my character's from that's not from the world, but I'm gonna add more details so that you can figure out, Tom, as the story goes, different options for that could be solutions for my character that I'm looking for, so that way you can because I don't know where the story is supposed to go or anything, so it's open-ended enough. But I'm really enjoying playing as my character because although I picked the prodigy, I'm not playing the like know-it-all like show off character. I'm trying to play the like, oh, it would always like, wouldn't it be nice if like the more quiet character who like pays attention to stuff and like usually isn't the powerful one was like actually the powerful one. Like they're just like, oh, it's like, oh, wouldn't it be good if like the kind of like nerdy character was the one who's actually like really adept at the stuff. So I've been trying to play it differently, which has been fun to do that character.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. Each of you has also something in their story that I see finding very natural ways to draw it in. You all have either, in your case, it's more of a location. Tuna has a character in his past that I'm like, oh, this perfectly aligns with where hopefully the narrative in my head, the broad strokes of the narrative will go, you'll get to this place one way or another, and this character can be involved in one way or another. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, if you want to go see the full, if you want to learn how the game is played rather than just like kind of watching us play, and you want to see the full episode, there will be a cut down version going up on the YouTube ahead of Sunday night stream. But our Discord Spartan sub program that has a VOD of our stream on last Monday. But buckle in though, because it is like 5 hours of us.
Oh, you have the whole thing.
Around.
I thought you just streamed
no,
from
the
moment
thing.
we did the one shot. Honestly,
No.
I feel like that video should be from the one shot on and not the 3.5 hour slideshow presentation.
The one that is going to be put out for the public is going to be a condensed version of the actual campaign, but I wanted to have,
okay, got it. That makes sense.
It not only there for as a bonus for Spartan subs, but like if we wanted to go back to it, or if I wanted to kind of like go back to it and look at like, oh, actually I didn't explain this right, or whatever it may be. Yeah. But yeah, I've been spending a lot of time building that up, and that was something we did on Monday, and it was a ton of fun. I'm actually going to insert, before you get into what you've been up to, I actually received something in the mail today, which I think is going to be fun to put on the pod. And so we have a new segment, Unranked Unboxes. I got an email.
Well, I guess it's not listener mail.
No, it's not listener mail. I got a and this is obviously, go to youtube.com/unranked podcast, see the video of this. I get emails from the company I Am 8-Bit, and they had asked, they were like, hey, we have this thing, do you want to check it out?
God, I should really respond to those.
And the I Am 8-Bit people, what's so funny is they'll ask months ahead of like the product being a thing, and then I will be like, what's this box? And I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about this. It is, I have no affinity for this IP, as Greg from Succession would put it. I'm curious as to how you feel about this.
Well, Greg from Succession would put it to.
It's the Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, it's a little before my time.
This is Mad Mike and the Quest for Stale Gum. It's a limited edition. There's 4,000 of these. This, Chris, is a brand new video game made for the NES. There is an NES cartridge in this box.
That is pretty cool.
We are going to, which was the main reason. I was like, I don't even really know what the Garbage Pail Kids are. It's a trading card, right? So I'm opening it up. Yeah.
While you unbox that, I'm gonna unbox something myself.
What do you? Oh, is it dice?
No.
It sounds like it's dice.
No, it's just these damn containers are so hard to open.
Oh, hang on. There we go. I wondered why that was happening. Okay. So, wow. Oh, this is great. So there we go.
That's really cool.
This is, and it comes with cards as well. And what's so funny is we have Brooks' old NES in the closet. So this is, for people that aren't watching the video, it is an NES cartridge, but it is like a see-through pink, which is pretty tight. And then there's some cards as well, some things. So that's fun. Maybe a little review of Garbage Pail Kids, Mad Mike, and the Quest for Stale Gum next week.
Are you gonna play
if I can get the NES up and running? Yeah. I don't know if we have the right cables for that, but and then there's a table of contents. Here's some of the art.
Do you have an NES to play this time?
Yeah, in the closet, Brooks' old NES. We have it. Yeah. But I don't know if we have the, like, I don't think we have like I don't have like an old. You can
go on Amazon and get an adapter.
Yeah, we could get something super easy. Yeah. So there we go. Maybe we'll give a sweet little review of that next week. But yeah, that's cool. They have that up there. They have a ton of other cool stuff. They make a bunch of cool products.
Hell yeah.
There's a Game Boy game. They sell like new Game Boy games. Like people like develop limited runs of things, the Game Boy cartridges and stuff, which is sick. So yeah, there you go.
That's great.
Yeah. What did you unbox? What do you got?
I just took a 20 milligram gummy because it is
Oh, hell
420.
yeah. Shit. I should probably have a little something.
I meant to do it before the podcast, but hey, why not do it on the podcast?
Yeah.
I did ask the Discord; they agreed, so I said I'll do it. All right, great. Here we go. Now I
Have you
just got
been
to fight off
playing?
the munchies for the rest of the day.
Have you been playing anything?
Well, I got more time on Teranil, and I got to tell
Oh
you,
God, right. This game,
my
yes.
initial impressions of it were wrong because I didn't really spend a lot of time playing it at first, and I think it's not actually a ecological city builder because you're not building a city, you're building an environment is the idea. You are using like there are non-environmental aspects of it, like you have to have like water pumps to like help create the rivers and things like that, but you're not setting up cities or areas for people. It's all automated. However, getting to spend more time with it, it's not a ecological builder, it's not a city builder, it is a puzzle game. It is
Oh, okay.
actually much more of a puzzle game than it is like a true sim like experience. And I'm not sure 100% about how I feel about that because I think I actually would have preferred it to be the other way. And from what I can tell, looking at like the developers page online, and it seems like they're going to be putting more into this game because right now it's sort of in this weird no man's land of, I think it's a little bit too much of a sim game to be like an enjoyable puzzle game because you spend a lot of time on essentially what are puzzles in this game because you select the next area and it's like, okay, this area is this kind of wasteland and you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to spend more time like cleaning up this kind of ground and like there's no water here, so you're gonna have to like, the problem with it is you spend a lot of time in each area as you would with like a Sim City style game, but how you like place everything, like, okay, let's place the windmill so that I can get enough energy. If you don't place everything right, your economy is going to limit your effectiveness in like solving the puzzle of like, success. um the game actually has different difficulties on how much resources you have, and so that's where like the puzzle aspect comes in. It honestly, it just feels like it's sort of torn between the two different ideas, and I think they need to just go farther in the direction of making it more of a sim game and less of a like, can you turn this area into, a habitat with limited resources and limited spacing to do so. That's where it's more of like a puzzle game. So the gameplay, I think the gameplay and the concept are a little bit at odds, and that's what I'm seeing some of the reviews say as well. However, I think if you go and you play this on one of the two easier settings and you're like, I just want to like deforest to play, like I want to plant a bunch
Forest.
of trees and
Yeah.
like forest this area because you want a very low stakes, like fun, relaxing game to like mindlessly play, like to kind of decompress. I think it's really good for that. That's mostly when I've been playing at nighttime. I'll open it up on the iPad and I'll play it like that. I stopped playing on the higher difficulty because I just didn't enjoy the puzzle aspect of it. And that's coming from someone who really likes puzzles. Like Baba's You is like one of my favorite games that I played in the last, handful of years. Um, this just, it doesn't quite have enough of the puzzle aspect to make it worthwhile, and the sim aspect it also needs more of to kind of scratch that itch, because now I'm like, maybe I'm just gonna fucking like do Roller Coaster Tycoon again. Like, or there's these like new Roller Coaster Tycoon games coming out that looks really cool, or maybe I should just wait for City Skylines 2, or maybe I should do City Skylines in VR because it's on PSVR 2. So like, I don't know. I kind of was hoping it was going to scratch that itch a little bit more than it did. That being said, I think it is a really fun game. And for free, if you're a Netflix subscriber, it's great. It's a great touchscreen game. Um, Here's a weird thing. This seems like the perfect game to play with your Apple Pencil. You can't. You can
Oh.
only select things
That's
in the
weird.
menu. So like every menu object, if I want to be like, oh, switch to this, switch to the pump, switch to the irrigation system, whatever I want to like, I can do that with the Apple Pencil. But then when I get to the grid to like place and draw where I want things to go, got to use your finger. And I was like,
Interesting.
this would be so enjoyable to use my Apple Pencil on, because I was playing like Into the Breach with my Apple Pencil. Great, a lot of fun. You know,
Yeah, I'm surprised that functionality is missing. That's interesting.
You could use a dumb stylus; it would work. You know, it's like
That's like how the Nintendo Switch, like every like for a system that has a touch screen, the
Mhm.
Nintendo Switch library of games has such limited touch functionality.
Oh yeah,
Like,
because it has to, because you have to play them on the TV.
sure, but like you'd think that maybe you'd have the option. Like when I was playing Pokemon,
It would be
you know,
nice.
like I was like, oh, it would be great to just like one-handed, like I'm especially like when you are mobile, like sometimes like just having the one hand free and if you're doing Pokemon battling, like it should be a thing, but like
Yep,
yeah, it's
it makes the touchscreen feel
wild.
pointless.
It is essential. I forget that it has a
Yes,
touchscreen sometimes,
I
and like
largely feel like they could not put touch in the next display, and it wouldn't make a difference.
yeah, no one because like there'll be times when
Someone's gonna write it. My favorite game uses touch on. I'm sorry.
well it's frustrating too because you'll have it in the dock or something, and you'll have the Joy-Cons unattached, and you'll want to pick up, maybe you want to download a game real quick, and you can pick it up, and it's like, great. Oh, actually, I can navigate like to the shop, and I can find the game and tap the thing, and I can put in my credit card or whatever have you. Great, but no way to like go back. Like you have to then you have to then attach a Joy-Con to hit the B button to get out of the menus and all this stuff. And I'm like, Nintendo, I just don't know why.
Dude, when I went over Alex's last week and I played Smash Bros with Dan and Alex, we had a great
Mm-hmm.
time. Great time playing some local Smash Brothers. Um, I brought my GameCube controller, of course, and which was great because I had it wrapped up in my jacket, which I was carrying. And like one of the first things Alex says is, "You bring the GameCube controller." I was like,
That's a good Alex impression.
yeah. And they were apparently like betting whether or not I had,
Yeah,
which
but they both bet that you
of course
did.
I did. Of course I
Yeah.
did. I'm not gonna, but to attach someone else's controller to the Switch, it's actually really stupid,
Oh
because not
God.
only do you not need to press, like on the Xbox, you would just typically press the, two
Sync
buttons,
button.
the sync.
Yeah.
You don't actually have to do anything like that on the Switch. There is, but you don't need to. But you don't go into the system settings, go under controllers to pair new controller. You don't pair controllers. You go to change like the Joy-Con grip order. That's the one you go
Yes.
under. It's the one that makes the least sense to pick. Alex wouldn't listen to me. The two of them were like, no, go to this, go to this. And I was like, all right, do that one. Sure. Didn't work. Told you. Okay, no, well, it has to be this. Because I'm like, listen, I'm telling you. Then he takes out the Joy-Cons. He's like, oh, I got it. I'm like, you don't need to use the Joy-Cons to do this. You just need to go to this button. And then I did it. And he goes, well, why would it be that? I'm like, I don't know. Why didn't you just listen to me when I told you what it was?
I don't know what's going
It's
on with
so
those.
confounding. Nintendo is notoriously terrible at user interfaces, right? Basically, essentially everything but the games themselves, Nintendo is not good at. I think that's sort of
And
fair to
sometimes
say.
and but even it's totally fair, but also like those weird decisions that they make on for like back end stuff, software stuff, like all this, like all of those decisions you can see like in the games as well.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like menu navigation in these games is
The
also
menus
like
in Smash Brothers are so insane, but Sakurai loves them. Apparently, I can't remember what it was. I got to look up the article, but there's an article about like why he designed the menus the way that he does. And I'm like,
yeah,
man, these are so fucking weird. There's just different shapes all over the place.
yeah.
Like sometimes you can't tell when you press a direction. If you were to guess, like, if I press right, which of these two
Which
things is
right?
it going to go
Yes,
to?
dude. Yeah,
Is it going to go
yeah.
up?
I remember when the game first came out, and we were doing a lot of tournaments and streams and all that stuff, and trying to create like the appropriate rule set,
Oh my god, dude.
and like remembering like how to set, like pressing the right buttons to get through that. I
That was
have
a
a
thing.
million.
That was a thing when we played the other day. Alex goes,
Yeah.
oh, he goes, how do we do this? Like we didn't even get into the first match, and he immediately was already like, "Fuck." Now I know why I'm not playing this game as much.
Yeah. Because like I'll go into my rule. When you start up a match, it asks like which rule set do you want, and I just have like a bunch of gibberish named ones. What I know is L11 is the name, because like trying to like navigate to like name them and stuff like that is a nightmare.
Yeah.
All I know is L11 is the base rule set, the 3 stock,
Amazing.
like all this stuff, and then underneath that there's a bunch of bullshit rule sets that are partial builds of that one rule set that I want, but they weren't fully completed correctly, and so they're just like all like there's like 10 underneath that are just slight variations that no one wants to play, and I don't want to touch any of them because I don't know how to like. I don't want to ruin. I'm like L11 is what we want.
I have a bunch. I have like 3 stock. I have like 3 stock no item. But they're all like abbreviations, so it's like 3 stock NI, and then it's like 3 stock MI for medium items. This was like 3 stock item custom. Like it's madness, man. It's fucking. And then you have to get into like, oh well, this one has all maps on. This one only has Final Destination. This one has all the maps that aren't bullshit.
I haven't set up any of that. I was like 3 stock, regular, all items.
And then I had to pick Dan. It was really funny actually when we were playing, because Dan actually had gotten pretty decent at that game. He was the best. I think it's the best he was ever at Smash. Sure. But it definitely like the memory of the controls was not coming back to him. Plus, he was using the Pro controller, and he said he was used to the Joy-Cons, which, I mean, I bring my GameCube controller, so I'm not gonna dish on anyone for needing to play with a specific controller. But I had like a name on Alex's file that said C. So like that was my username.
Sure.
And so Dan had picked that, and I'm like, all right, well now I have to make another one. And then I had to like back out. And he was like, well, why? And I'm like, well, because if you don't, then when you accidentally press up, it jumps. And I need the up to jump to be off. I also need like these 2 buttons to press together to do like a short hop smash. And they're like, what the fuck? Oh, that game is a wonderful game that is tied down by terrible online and awful interface.
Yeah, I mean,
which game
like,
are you talking about? There should just be like an asterisk.
Or are you talking about?
Like the Nintendo seal of quality. There should just be like the Nintendo seal of stupid. That is just like still has bad online, still has a bad interface for just every game, and it's like it's a 10 out of 10 with this like asterisk next to it.
It's so fucking funny. Before we get into news, I watched something that let's talk about, and I played something. So this morning I watched, and I don't know if you're going to get around to watching it. It is number 3 on Netflix right now. The Power Rangers Once and Always 30th Anniversary Special. Have you seen anything about this?
I did see some Power Rangers news today, which was...
Oh, what's the Power Rangers news today?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I'm about to be a bummer.
Reveal? What is it?
The Green Ranger died.
Oh, he's been dead.
No, a different Green Ranger died.
No, I don't think so. I think...
Oh, I thought I saw something.
I think it's just that they had in the episode, they have like a... Yeah. No one's dead.
Oh, okay. I saw something.
It's still JDF. It's probably talking about... So this is...
Oh, yeah, okay.
At the end of the
like
episode, they have a memorial. Yeah, they have
a
tribute.
Okay.
Which, honestly...
This is why I'm not going to watch it. I don't know anything about this, Tom.
So... The Green Ranger Tommy right there, the coolest Ranger that has ever existed, and they will never top the original Green Ranger and Mighty Morphin. I actually found out at my friend's giving last fall from my friend Eric, who is also a massive Power Rangers fan. We actually met because of Power Rangers. He told me, like, dude, like, there's a rumor going, like, the internet is saying, like, he committed suicide. I was like, all right, man, like, we're trying to have friends giving, we're trying to think about it. Twofold with the problem, like JDF has always had, the guy that played Tommy always had rest in peace, a bunch of issues, and he's going through a very messy divorce, affairs, things like that. He's also kind of a right-wing nut job, which made it kind of really hard to like be a fan of his, and so it was hard for me to get emotional about it. But I'll tell you this, at the end of that episode, there was nothing in the episode that made me emotional, and he's still alive in the episode, in the canon of it. But the end, the episode, they have footage from, I don't know if it was just like behind the scenes footage of them hanging out on the set, or if it was from an episode that I just don't remember or had missed. But like, it's Kimberly the Pink Ranger playing acoustic guitar, and it's like this really melancholy cover song, like a country song. And then Zach like harmonizes with her, and like it has clips of all of them as young, and it like has Tui Trang, who also she died in a car wreck in the early 2000s, and then it has clips of JDF, and then it was like the in memoriam piece, and I was like emotional. I was like, wow, I've been emotional about this moment. So I thought that was a really beautiful send off. The episode itself was pure quintessential Power Rangers. I actually thought it was done pretty well. There was a lot of Power Ranger stuff that is legitimately unwatchable television, even if you, I think, are young. But this was actually fun, watchable. The other thing that is big news right now is that they made it canon in the show that Tommy doesn't end up with Kim. He ends up with Kat, who is the second Pink.
Shut the fuck up.
He doesn't end up with Kimberly.
No way.
Yeah. So this is something that was introduced initially in the original show. There is a Christmas special episode where they meet Santa, and there is and it's a late season one when Kat has replaced Kim, and Tommy is essentially dating Kim. They never really date because it's like a baby show. So Tommy, there have only been two
They
kisses.
don't fuck, is what you're saying.
They don't even kiss.
Power Rangers don't fuck.
They don't even hint like they hint at relationships.
Look at your toys. They are smooth in the groin.
Oh,
there's
they're
nothing.
they're smooth everywhere, bud.
There can't be penetration when there's nothing to penetrate with, Tom.
They're super smooth. Look at that. There's nothing. It's almost an inverted. There's almost like a concave situation.
All of the Power Rangers are
asexual.
They're like the spider on Game of Thrones. They've all had their genitals
they've all
removed.
had their bits, yeah.
Just smooth down there.
There have been two kisses in the history of Power Rangers, and one of them was between Kim and Tommy in like season 1 or 2 of the show, and then there wasn't another one for like 25 years. But they hinted at the idea that Kat and Tommy were like dating when she replaced. And in that Santa episode, they have a vision of the future where Tommy, there's an elderly Tommy and an elderly Kat, and they have a son. And that's never ever mentioned again until the limited run comic from Boom Studios a couple of years ago that was called Soul of the Dragon, and it was meant to be like a Tommy as if he had aged appropriately, so he's like in his 40s, and like coming to terms with like being a father and all this stuff. And they had made it like, oh no, he canonically had a son with Kat, and the kid's name is JJ. And in the special,
Abrams,
I mean, can you imagine the time paradox there? In the special, they made that true for the actual canon of the show. In that they have,
I appreciate that. That's good.
So
I like
there
that.
you go.
That's like what I want to do with Lost, by making the son of Jack and Kate canonical.
We don't see the kid; he's just mentioned, but yeah. So there you go. And I texted my friend group that is a Power Rangers friend group. It's like, oh my god, Tommy and Kat end up like canonically together. And my friend, who is even more of a fan and like has read everything, all this stuff, he's like, explained to me, he's like, yeah, it was first mentioned in this and this. I was like, I had no freaking clue. So I had a lot of fun with that. It's people are watching it. It seems it's like I said, number 3 on the Netflix. And the weird thing is like the whole inciting incident is that Rita Repulsa, like in the show, kills Trini.
Yeah, and it's Trini's dead body who Rita Repulsa kisses as the second kiss 25 years later, which is like really like
that was the distasteful part of the and it's a
that's
robot
why
too.
I when you didn't mention who was between, I was like, well, I know who doesn't.
Yeah, so go check that out if you have. Honestly, if you were a fan of the show as a kid, I think you'll have, and haven't watched it since, you'll still have a little bit of fun with this.
That's great.
And it's really funny though, because Johnny Young Bosch, who would eventually go on to voice every major anime character in the 90s and early 2000s in anime, and still does a lot of voice acting. He's in it as like a little bit of a cameo for a brief spell, and it's very clear that he is the only one that has had like steady like acting work for the last 20 30 years, because he is running, he's not even having to do much, and he is running laps around everyone else in this show, except for the person they get to play, Min, who is Trini's daughter in the thing.
And the actress who
She's
played Trini's decaying corpse all these years later.
She nailed it.
Great job.
Nailed it.
Great job.
And then one thing that I've been playing is a game called Dead Island 2. Did you ever play the first one?
No, I didn't. I remember that really stupid bust they sent out for, what was that for? Was that for Dead Island 1 or 2?
Oh,
it was
I have no idea.
It's like a zombie eaten bust of a woman in a bikini.
Bust.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a riptide. Oh my god, no way.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We had one of those at G4. It was so much crazier even in person.
That is, for people that don't have access to Google, I am looking at it is the bust in many ways. Of a woman from like the top of, I wouldn't even say like chest like stomach up. It is top of the hips up. And she's wearing a bikini, so you get a little bit of the like bikini thing. And I guess this is just like a statue. Yeah. And she's wearing a great. It's not.
It's not gonna be in focus. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a literal bust. Tits out.
It's pretty big too, which is the wild thing.
It looks. I mean, is it a? Yeah.
It's probably like the size of two liter
31
bottles,
centimeters high, which okay.
It's pretty large, which honestly made it all the more ridiculous.
Yeah.
The kind of shit that used to come with game pre-orders, and still does sometimes, is really wild.
Yeah. This is the sequel to that game. Yeah, so Dead Island 2, this is a game that was announced in like 2015, 2014, and has been through literal development hell. I think it's had 3 or 4 developers like attached to it. It's just been passed on and on and on. And it's also a game that like I knew people who were connected to it, and they kept saying it's still happening. Like it's still happening. And I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. And it's finally here. It'll be, if you're listening now, it's out for folks. And I'm surprised how competent it is. It's a fun time. It is it's exactly what you expect. The ways in which it shines are in its attention to detail, and that is both in its comedic portrayal of Los Angeles. So that's the other thing. It doesn't take place on an island this time. It takes place in LA, or Helle as they call it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna wait, but I was just gonna say this is a game that I actually would consider buying if it was coming out in the summer.
Sure. Yes. When it wasn't
it's
like
really
Jedi coming out next week. Yeah, and then it's just a litany of games for weeks, right?
Yep.
So it's a depiction of LA is impressive. And they have a lot of fun with it. It's not open world, it's big open areas, and the first one you start in is Bel Air. And one of the first fun things you have to make your way through is an influencer house. So like a David Dobrik style, we shoot here, we do the production, we live in this house.
A hype house.
It's called like Goat Squad or something like that.
Right.
And the funny thing, like there's tons of great details, but the best one is you come to the room where they had to shoot the apology video because they were downplaying the zombie virus, saying like it's a hoax, like don't take it seriously, you can still go outside, like all this stuff. And there's a camera, and then behind it is a whiteboard that's them like reading off the script, and it says like, this is coming straight from the heart, like we're sorry, we apologize for downplaying the zombie virus, like, and telling people not to get vaccinated, all this stuff. So it's really cool in that attention to detail. And then the engine, in the way that it, in our GameSpot review, our reviewer said it was like the world's grossest onion that you can peel any which way you want. So when you strike a zombie, it's not 1-to-1, but it really does, like, if you have, there's Wolverine claws in the game.
Yeah.
And if you slash the zombie across the chest, it will rip and tear at its flesh in that direction. Or if you hammer it, like, it will break through. So the specificity of all that and the detail of the gore is really impressive, and like makes it like you want to keep playing just to see how you can, the different ways in which you can fuck the zombies up. But it plays very traditionally. There's nothing really.
I mean, it has to, Tom, because it exists on last generation consoles. And I got to tell you, I think I'm done playing these games because it looks, graphics aren't everything. But when I opened up, the trailer for this, and I was just skimming through it while you were talking just to get a better idea of the visuals. I'm like, it looks like a last gen game.
It looks like the first Dead Island.
And we're on the third year of the new generation. I don't want to play old games.
No. It does feel old. The other thing is that Dying Light, which was made by Techland, that was actually the developer on the previous Dead Island, and then left Future Products to like step out and make its own stuff, and they made Dying Light, and then they made Dying Light 2, which came out last year. That impresses in its scope. It's this huge open world. It's all about kind of parkouring and less about fighting the zombies and more like navigating around them and navigating around the hordes. And that is just like way more fun and feels way better than the kind of janky, I'm really stuck to the ground here. The most I can do is a jump, you can do like a jump kick.
I'm also
That's
a
lot
little
of fun.
over zombies.
Yeah, I mean, who isn't, right?
Right? Like even Redfall. I know it's vampires, but
yeah, but it has the same vibe, and that's my biggest issue.
That is my biggest issue with Redfall. Yeah. But the fact that it's an arcade game and it's gonna have these other mechanics is the thing that I'm gonna at least look at it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna look at it down the road, and I'm gonna look at it maybe when it's on Game Pass or something. I'm not gonna be. Or actually, is that a Game Pass?
Redfall is Game Pass because it's a Bethesda
all right, so
game,
I'll look at that after Zelda.
Yeah. But it's not a great time for Redfall to be coming out. The other thing about Redfall is like
I think it's
a
bad time to release your video game right now. I think if you're not Star Wars or Zelda, you shouldn't put out your video game until mid-June. Like honestly.
But even then, I mean, you've got, Final Fantasy. We'll see. I think Final Fantasy.
That's such a different market than that's fine. They're such different markets. The Diablo and the Final Fantasy. I think that's fine, but they are gonna have people who are like, well, I'll fucking play Diablo.
Yeah, these games scream August to me. These games scream August for like you're over. Because here's the thing: you going into the summer, days are getting nicer. If you're staying inside to play video games, you're going to be playing the bangers, right? And that's going to be Star Wars. It's going to be Breath, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
If you're a little freak, Diablo and Final Fantasy, you're going to be playing the bangers. August, you're like, okay, I'm done with the heat and it's getting hotter. I'm staying in the air conditioning. That's the time to release the 7 out of 10s.
Yep.
To release the Redfalls, and it would make sense for Redfall too, because Redfall is launching with a bunch of missing features. It's also going to be only online, and they said, hey, we're gonna undo that, but it's gonna take time. It won't be there at launch. Yeah.
Just put it out later.
Yeah. Anyway, and then the other thing about Dead Island 2, real quick, is that it has guns, which Dying Light 2 does not. So that was meant to be like a big differentiator between the two. But B, the guns suck. They're not fun to use. They're not great. The melee combat is where the focus is. That's where all the fun is. Which it wouldn't be a problem, but like that is what Dying Light 2 also, like that was all it did as well. So there's even less kind of separating the two there. But it's a fun time. We've been looking forward to another Dead Islands. Like you're not going to be disappointed, but you're also just not going to be blown away. It's totally hitting your expectations. And the fact that this is like the 4th developer to have worked on this game, it's maybe a miracle that it's even
it's a
just
game
fine.
That should have been out a long time ago.
Yeah, or you'd expect to release in an unplayable state, but it's playable and you can have fun
Was
with
the first Dead Island available on the 360?
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
PS3
this
360
game,
era.
man, it missed its time. It missed its window.
Yeah.
I know that there's fans out there who've been anticipating this game. I think we have some of them here. I think Psych Mike in the Discord is, look, I get it. If
You want to throw in a
are gonna
pod and
enjoy
like
this game,
fucking rip
yeah,
through some zombies, go for
sure, go for it.
it.
But for me, I just feel like this game feels like something I would have played years ago, and I've got Star Wars next week. I don't give. Honestly,
Survivor, baby.
I've texted Alex many times now. I really wish Zelda was just not coming out till the next console. As much as I want to play it, I wish it was going to be on the next Switch so that it would run better and look better. Don't make me play this version of it, because I'm going to be mad when we get the next console version of it. I guarantee, Tom, there's no. I see absolutely zero way that if a Switch successor is out within a year of this game coming out, which would make sense, even a year and a half, I see no way that they don't have a version for
like
it.
A patch, yeah.
Or just a version for it. Just like how if you bought the Wii fucking
Switch 2,
they had the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild and they had the Switch version of Breath of the Wild. I understand they came out at the same time, but like, hey, they're gonna get a lot of people to rebuy that $70 video game.
Yeah, I guess so. That'll be interesting. I mean, the last rumor we had is that they are just because it's going to launch supposedly around the DLC for Pokemon, and that there will be an update patch. So,
which tells you, by the way, that there won't ever be a performance patch for the game
for the current Switch
owners because it just can't.
Yeah,
and they can't.
and they can. I think it's more and they can.
They can.
Than it can.
Well, because they have to get more ready
see.
for the next game, while also building the new DLC. Like, you know, that they really need to be just an entire extra studio for that, but that'll never happen because who cares about overhead when all you care about is profits, Tom?
I love it.
I played a game today briefly that I wanted to bring up called Minecraft Legends.
Oh, you jumped in some Minecraft Legends. How did that go?
Well, first thing that caught me off guard was you know, for a game that like it looks a lot better than Minecraft. And I understand Minecraft can look pretty good now, but like the people that are playing like pretty Minecraft have all these fucking patches and like texture packs. Like base ass Minecraft still doesn't look like a great game. It's serviceable, it does what it needs, but I was kind of hoping it would look better even than it does. I do like the visual like style they're going with, because you are not actually like digging, you know, it's not the actual normal Minecraft voxel world. It's a more stylized version of it. However, all of the in-engine, it appears to be, unless they're scripted, which would make it even worse, all of the like in-engine cutscenes I've had have been like stuttery. And I'm like, the game doesn't look that good. You know? And twice coming out of a cutscene, my game has frozen on me. So from the jump, I understand this just launched. It's on Game Pass. It's going to get like a patch. I was a little like, come on, performance wise, we're not reinventing the wheel here with a Minecraft game. The game seems like I didn't put enough time into it at all to really gauge what the depth of it is going to be. But from an initial impression, it feels like something for a younger base or just a less game experienced base player.
Yeah, because, makes sense.
I mean, so the tutorial that you'll go through, it's like, walk over here. Like, you want to collect resources? Like, cool. You don't have to chop down the tree. You just, like, if you're in this window and you say, collect like the wood from here, collect the stones from there, it'll auto do those things for you, which is great, because it's like, if you want to just go around fucking resource gathering, then Minecraft exists already. Go do that. But that has to be a part of this game. So it's like, okay, you go here, grab some stone, grab some wood. Now I can spawn. And so you can spawn different types of enemies. So I've got these like little stone golem guys and these little wood golem guys. The wood golem guys have bow and arrows, so they're ranged, and the stone golems are melee combat. And then you fight your enemies, and it is very much like a little bit Pikmin inspired in that you have a like gather here. So you're like, oh, gather up on me. But unlike Pikmin, I don't make a whistle. I have a area of effect. So if I'm in the gather mode, I have to still walk close enough to like get them to gather on me, which my best guess to that is in more difficult levels, I'll want to probably not accidentally gather these creatures if I need them to be doing something else. But it feels like what they should have done is when I'm holding the button in, like the trigger in to say gather up on me, let me use like my joystick to adjust the area width of that. Because if I want all my dudes, I don't want to have to go like have this area effect on and then run around close enough to them so that they start following me again.
No, I understand that. Yeah, that makes
So it's
sense.
It feels a little like it could have used a little bit more refining, I think, in the combat. And then the reason I say that is that the combat, I can already tell. I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be fun unless I do this with friends, because
Sure.
the combat was just, okay, well, there's the two enemy spawners.
Yeah.
So I just tell my guys to go fight them and I can like kind of run up on it and hit it too. But the mobs are so worthless that it's almost like what are those games that I fucking hate? The Hyrule Warriors. What do they call those?
God, miso.
Yeah, it's almost like a little bit like a miso in that way. It's which
miso?
a
That's sounding
muso,
incorrect.
muso game.
Muso. I
A
was
miso.
like,
Oh
it's
my
not
god, miso soup.
miso.
Jesus.
I was like, I don't think it is miso, but it's very close. But anyway,
My god. So yeah, it feels like there's the combat. I understand that it's a little bit more like Pikmin versus Pikmin in a way. Because typically in Pikmin, it's like, oh, you have your bunch of little mobs and you're going against like this large thing. It's not like you versus as many shitty small things as your Pikmin are. So I didn't get a lot of enjoyment out of it, but I haven't played much. So there could be a lot more to it going on. It seems to have reviewed okay, like sevens.
Yeah. And I think that their strategy with these games is to give enjoyable experiences for younger players in these, because we had Minecraft Dungeons, which was essentially the same concept but for a dungeon.
That was Diablo.
Which right,
yeah, Minecraft
which
Diablo.
Me and Brooke, can you play couch co-op with this game, or is it just online?
I don't think couch co-op can do couch co-op in this.
Okay. Yeah, we did couch. We could do couch co-op in Minecraft Dungeons, which makes a lot more sense for couch co-op than maybe an RPG game like this. But we had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, it was that thing of like, it was fun because we were playing together, and it was a modern. You don't get many of these games, right? You don't get many couch co-op experiences that are modern games, unless it's maybe like a Nintendo thing. And so that was a lot of fun, but I was playing it thinking like, this is too rudimentary for me to have fun without someone else. So maybe you and I can give it a go this weekend and test your hypothesis on whether this is
I'd be willing to do
fun
so.
One.
Yeah. I think
and it makes it easy because it's on Game Pass.
It's very, the way you phrase that is very like Big Bang Theory. You and I can test your hypothesis on this game together this weekend.
Oh well, one of us has been watching Big Bang Theory.
I'm halfway through it, Tom. I've watched half the series in about a week.
I know that, like, I understand that it's a background thing. You understand how dumb the show is, and it's helping you with your.
Oh, it's great because typically I put things on in the background that I enjoy, so it distracts me a lot by accident, even But I also can't like function if I don't have some kind of background. So this is great because it's so bad and so simple that you really only need to pay attention to like maybe 3 minutes of the 30 minutes of an episode, and the whole thing.
It's funny because when that show first came out, it was like 2007. It's been out for a while now.
Yeah. It was on for 12 years.
It ran a long time. Like, it's really weird to think of it as big and successful as something like Friends, because it didn't happen during the kind of golden era of sitcoms, but it was that big. Like, it was that big.
Parsons, the guy who played Sheldon, more than Seinfeld, they offered him $50 million to do another season, and he turned it down. $50 million.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And they weren't, this wasn't like Friends, because I believe on Friends, like didn't they all like get paid similar by the end? Like they had
yeah.
negotiated like
So
as a group,
initially,
which was great for the
yeah.
women because that never happens.
Well, what's interesting, it was the women on Friends that were getting paid higher.
So that makes sense with Jennifer Aniston and Courtney
leading
Cox.
into the final season. Courtney Cox, Jennifer Aniston, and Lisa Kudrow were all being paid $1 million an episode, and the guys were not being paid that. But the final season, they all got that paycheck, which I mean was, in inflation terms, even bigger than it sounds. That was,
and none of that even matters compared to the royalties they've made since then.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
They make millions of dollars every year.
Just like, yeah, without even doing anything. Oh,
must be nice.
Be the dream. But yeah, anyway, I remember when it first came on, I remember being like, oh, this is funny, and like it's nerdy, and I'm nerdy, but very quickly kind of fell off. And then someone shared a clip from Big Bang Theory, and it was like a clip of a joke, and they were like, please someone just tell me where the joke is in this clip. Like, I just don't know where the joke is meant to be. And the clip is them playing, that someone's playing ping pong, and one of the guys goes, it's playing on the field, we're on the field of Pelennor between the Autobots and the Decepticons.
Yep.
And they're wielding lightsabers for their thing, and like just like every element of the game had like a nerdy name, and like the laugh track goes
dude, the laugh track, that's my favorite thing to do is try to watch it imagining as if there's no laugh track. because I'll say this, I think it would be not only like really fucking snobby and elitist to pretend like the show never has any funny moments in it, which a lot of people are like, oh, it's such garbage. I'm like, listen, I don't enjoy this TV show. That being said, the idea that like there's nothing ever funny in like any episodes of this show, of one of the most successful comedies of all time, is I think a little snotty of an opinion to hold. However,
that there was one joke
like,
that came.
There's like a joke in episode that makes me laugh, and it's always the guy that plays Sheldon, and it's basically because he's just so rude. He's just such a mean, direct person, because he's very clearly like, they wrote him as if he's autistic, even though like that's not a part of the character. They say, they're like, no, he's just very direct. But like at least once an episode, he just says something that's so outlandishly like mean that I'm like, what the fuck?
I remember seeing a clip that was played right to like me as a person, and it was Sheldon is trying to decide whether to get a PlayStation 4 Pro or an Xbox One X.
Holy shit, dude, that's so crazy, because the Wii was like brand new when this show started.
It came out. Yeah. He's trying to decide between the two, and whoever he's with, who's not one of the not nerdy characters on the show, is like, oh, just get the Xbox. And he's like, are you saying that because it comes with a 4K Blu-ray drive that can play 4K Blu-rays and the PS4 Pro does not? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, I already have a 4K Blu-ray player, so that doesn't really qualify here or something. And like, it was, and I was like, oh,
it's a conversation we would have had.
Exactly. Like, that is totally how I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just can't believe you're doing it.
The fascinating thing to me, because I do, as I'm watching, I'm also thinking about that, like just from a writing perspective, like I think it's really clever what they did, because one of the things that this show is really popular with is middle America, like, and it's like that is one of these are not people that would have ever been popular on TV. However, what they did was they have a show starring one of the main characters of Roseanne. And also in that same first season, they have him have a love interest who is also a main character from Roseanne, which is like this creator of the show made Roseanne. So he found a way to take, which by the way, this show weirdly, and I wonder how much credit it possibly deserves for this, but it came out at the same time that, like the Nerdist got really big and people cared about Comic-Con that didn't read comic books.
Yeah.
And the like this show started before the MCU.
Oh, it
right?
makes
So I
total
wonder
sense
how many
why
of those
this show
things
was so popular.
Like I wonder how many people watch comic book movies and became a part of these things that wouldn't have, because their characters like on TV, especially like young kids. Like if you were a young kid and you grew up watching the show, I bet there are people in their 20s who think that show is so fucking funny because they started watching it when they were like 8.
I don't talk to those people.
Like I'm curious about it. It does make me curious from like a writing perspective, but it has been making a really bad turn around now because
quality wise,
because the first few seasons, as I was watching it, I'm like, this is not nearly as bad as this is not a show.
But then it becomes a
like every show,
a victim of its own success. Yes.
Every show, like it's not even success. Like every show that exists, like the characters become bigger stereotype of themselves every season. And now that I just hit the 6th season, I'm like, oh wow, these characters went from like seeming like kind of weird people that like could have been real at first, to like nothing about any of these characters is real anymore. Like we are so past the event horizon, Tom, of what this show is.
And that we see that so often. And and unfortunately, I think that there are some smart creators out there, TV show creators, who see, it's totally an effect of a social media age where we have a giant culture and industry around reacting to content, and like there's millions of dollars to be made on specifically inciting emotions out of people to then share on social media and all this stuff. And it's really smart to see something like Succession be like, no, we're going out on top. Like we are wrapping this story up before it can become this thing where these characters become caricatures of themselves.
They already have, though. I got to tell you, and I didn't see last week's, but like the 3rd episode of the season was phenomenal. But like a lot of the like business dealing, and the drama parts for the first 2 episodes, I was like, man, I don't even care what they're talking about anymore. And I still enjoy hearing them talk like this, but I think like I might be over this.
So I think that is the genius of this season, because
it's the end of it.
Because the first 2 episodes are like them. To me, it's totally intentional. And it is unmasking the fact that there is any smarts, savvy happening at this level, and it is only because these people have more money than God, that they just bullshit their way through all this. And they've been doing this. And the first 2 episodes were them just like doing the greatest hits of like, oh, we'll just take a media and we'll just buy this, and they have that joke that's like, it's worth whatever anyone's willing to pay, which is so true in especially the media market. And they're coming up with the 100, which is just an idea off of an idea that is so stupid.
It's the worst. It's like if it's like someone listened to Josh Topolsky describe his next website, but also had no understanding of the media landscape and tried to make it themselves.
But also, if they were completely devoid of any creative ideas, and it was all just about what can we do to make money. And so the first 2 episodes are totally about that. I totally understand where you're coming from, where like you're kind of over it, but I think that was the point. And
well, I mean, the 3rd episode was great. So
they have the bit with Logan at the end of episode 2 where it says, you're not serious people.
Correct. Yeah.
Like you are not, like, this isn't like, to him, for all his faults, he is everything that they strive to be, and that he is actually savvy and vicious, and cunning in the way that they will never obtain.
No.
And then
even together, even combined,
even together. And that's the thing in this show. They keep saying like, we have a good thing going, like we're good. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. You 3 combined are still nothing compared to what this guy could pull off. And then obviously they pulled the rug out from under you in episode 3. And like now the show has turned into what it is. And so
it turns into the promise of episode 1.
Sure, yeah,
which is also made that very predictable, because I honestly expected that to happen in the premiere of the season, but It was still really well done.
I liked where it happened. I think where it happened and how they portrayed it was so well done. And this is the stuff that you want to see. And anyway, so I think that it's been the issues are more intentional than maybe it being a product of its own success. But it is a thing of like,
that's what I want to hear, because I was during a lot of the first 2 episodes, like, I'm hoping that this is gonna make a turn, because this is doing nothing for me.
Yeah, it was
outside of scenes with Logan, it was doing nothing for me.
I was like, when they were discussing like the deals and stuff, I'm like, this is just the thing you've been doing like the past few and like it's just slipped out of your fingers. But the fact that it is building on the more complex character moments and complex dude, I watched the scene. Oh, you haven't seen this week's episode? Oh my god.
So you'll have to wait. You'll have to wait till watch.
I can't. It's such a funny fucking moment, and I'm like, this show knows exactly what it's doing. Good stuff.
We should get some news and mail.
We should get to some news and mail, baby. Yeah, play that theme. Couple of news things here. Chris, you've been mentioning how great Netflix's games offering is. If only people knew it existed.
There's an infinite amount of games that are going to be available.
Some might say a Halo Infinite. So yeah, Joseph Staten, who long time worked for Bungie, then during the original Halo era, then got brought into when Bungie spun off. And 343 became a thing. Staten then worked in an Xbox large publishing at large. And then when Infinite's development was like crashing and burning in that last year up until release, Staten was brought back into 343 to land the plane. And I tell you what, I think he landed it. I think he did what he could to get that game where it needed to be from a technical standpoint. Obviously, there's a content issue and all these things. But it's clear that it seems from interviews and stuff and things that we've learned since that this was a temporary thing to just get the game done. And then the layoffs happened. And now he is completely leaving Microsoft and he's going over to Netflix to work on a AAA.
He got what I'm liking to call the tech company golden parachute, which is for gamers, which is basically these like prestige developers who have made wonderful games get like sold fucking monorail tail, the snake oil man is showing up, he's coming to town, the circus is here, he's got a big old wallet, and he's like, we're gonna build like a Stadia, or we're gonna build we're gonna do one of these things, and then that's it. That person you never hear from again until they don't work with that company, and then they're back. They're back at either their like original studio that made them big, or they're starting a new one.
They form a small indie company studio, and they're like, we're just making indie games.
If he produces one game that's worthy of being AAA in the next 6 years, Tom, I will feel as if he has done something that none of these other people have been able to accomplish.
I will say the one thing that makes this feel a little bit more different than the Stadia, although it does reek of Stadia, is that it wasn't like Netflix had a huge splashy, we are putting a stake in the ground of gaming, and we are creating cloud infrastructure and all this stuff.
No, they only spent $100 million on one guy.
But but they have been laying the groundwork all right, first off, we're just going to buy mobile games. We're going to get some mobile games. They've been laying the
groundwork to be Steam, right? To be modern Valve. What does modern Valve not do? Put out games. I know they have a new fucking version of Counter-Strike. That doesn't count.
No, it doesn't.
Valve doesn't really make games anymore, right? So when I say they're making it a Steam or they're being a Valve, they're being like an online distribution system for smaller titles. You can bring bigger titles in and make it compete with Game Pass, but what hardware does this run on?
Well, that is the question.
Is it going to be game streaming, and then is it just Stadia?
Yeah. At least there's a recognizable brand with a a large install base,
and they have a
already.
really great infrastructure for streaming, but so did Stadia.
Yeah,
So the question is, I mean, I suppose maybe the question is answering itself. Does Netflix actually get more penetration into the gaming market than we thought? Like, are more people playing these Netflix games? Because I can't imagine Netflix. I mean, I can, because these companies do stupid shit all the time, but it would be a weird thing to do to make this announcement and this commitment with this particular person as well, if that conversion wasn't taking place, because you have to train
sure.
your customer base to do this.
No, 100%. And I think it's also, it's one of those things that whether the Netflix mobile game model is successful or not, triple A gaming is it may as well be a completely different industry. The
It's
way
also so different than it was 10 years ago, because now, if we honestly, the expectation of getting more than one AAA like game per fucking developer in a generation is almost gone.
well, now,
Like
yeah.
like these games, like, you're gonna get one or two, and then that's all they can produce in 8 years. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, what is it? People talking like saying if you're starting game development now, you're building a game for the next generation of consoles. Like the dev cycles on this, and that is the thing, is like, where is this? What is this project? Where is it coming from? Like, so it's one of those things where I am not fully ready to be like, this is gonna crash and burn.
sure.
But there are total bunch of
I don't
pitfalls
think it's
here.
gonna crash and burn. I mean, I think that Netflix doing AAA is a really just silly and risky proposition. And I think that they have a really great thing going as possibly being an alternative to Steam as like a subscription model. And I think that that's like a really smart, awesome thing, because the only other real alternative to Steam that like matters is Epic Game Store.
Yeah, if they bought some like smaller
But it's
studios and like some
yeah.
cheap, if
But we
they
also want it to be a competition to Game Pass,
yeah,
right? So that's the thing.
to me it's almost like, oh, they should just like buy it. What is it, THQ Nordic, that puts out
Sure.
like all these like bullshit like double A like mid-level games, but like they don't cost an arm and a leg, and that the development cycle on them is quick because they usually just like remasters of old
Yeah.
games, and they sell like enough to make a profit. Like that's where I could see Netflix making uh, some inroads here. But I completely agree. Like their strongest suit is their distribution rather than like the production of it, and that is seemingly where a lot of Stadia's hangups was, because they were trying to be both at the same time. And by the time that they undid that choice, it was like already too late, because you only get one first impression. Yeah, and their mobile, however successful their mobile
Yeah.
gaming strategy has been, it's
They
pales in
have really
comparison
good
to
games
what.
in there.
Yeah, like truly, like
Two
I would say,
two of my top 10 indie games of this, like, of the 2000s on, so of the last, forever, are
yeah.
fucking available for free. You can get Dead Cells and Into the Breach, two of the best indie games I've ever played.
Yeah. The I would say it is comparative to Apple Arcade, if not in many ways,
Yeah.
having even some bigger hitters on there. The only downfall is like it's not as well integrated to the like iPhone experience. But
Most people
then,
don't know it exists.
yeah, well, I mean, maybe they're seeing data that shows that people do. Maybe
Yeah.
like maybe these Android people, I bet these Android
Ooh.
people, know what's up here.
Maybe this is something PC people talk about, because PC people love to just collect games like their Pokemon. Like they want, like they're like, oh, here's a free. Don't forget to pick up your free Epic
Yeah,
game. Don't forget
get this
to.
Epic,
And I'm like,
get this World
I
of Tanks
appreciate the people who put
DLC.
that work in, Tom, to make sure people know about it. But I never
Yeah,
redeem those games if I know I'm not gonna ever play them. And a lot of
only
people redeem
if
these
there's stuff
games.
that I want to play. Yeah, only if it's stuff that I want to play. Yeah, there's so much.
I'm just not trained to play games like that. But I do like to play games on my phone from time to time. So there we go.
Agreed. Um, a couple of other bits of news. This is something you'll be very interested in.
Okay.
Humanity,
Yeah.
which
I
the
played the demo of
demo
this.
it's a VR game, but you can also play it on PS5. Is going
By the way,
to
the demo is not a VR demo. It's the PS5 demo. The VR part was not on demo.
Oh, was it not?
If it was, then it was the worst VR demo because you couldn't like move in the space at all. It was like looking
Sure.
at a screen.
So this is a game where you basically play as like a dog and you like lead like a bunch of people. If you've been watching the State of Plays recently, it's been in a couple of those. This is going to launch on May 16th and is going to be a part of the game catalog. So if you have the extra or premium tier of PS Plus, it's going to be included with that, and it obviously will have the PS VR mode. It actually says here it's supported for PS VR 1 as well on the PS4. So if you still got one of those and you're still using that, that's knocking around. So check that out May 16th. And then also, if you're listening right now, you can play Street Fighter 6 came out with a demo. So that is available right now.
Oh, really?
This is
On
the
what?
first. It's available now on PlayStation, but it is coming to other platforms. So it might be like next weekend or something.
Ooh.
Street
You want to
Fighter.
play that this weekend?
I'm down. 6.
I
don't
love
know.
Street Fighter.
I've heard nothing but praise about this new game. Okay, yeah. So it's on PS4 and PS5 right now, and then April 26th, which is next Thursday, or next Wednesday, actually, it'll be on Xbox and PC. So there you go. And there's like details on added rosters, DLC characters, and stuff like that that's been announced. So if you're in Street Fighter 6 and you have a PlayStation, whether that be PS4 or PS5, if you're listening right now, you can play that demo April 26th for anyone else. And I think we're good to get in some mail.
Great. Email it on unrankedpodcast.com or go to our Discord, go to the show notes, or call in to 805-738-8692. We have a question here from Big Boss Nasty. If aliens were to invade Earth and challenge you to a gaming match for the fate of the planet, which game would you play to save humanity? Speaking of humanity.
Yeah.
Well, let's also, just for the sake of this, Tom, assume the aliens have the same digits that we have.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Really? You'd go with new Mario Kart? Yeah. Not like a cheaper old Mario Kart where there might be like really good shortcuts.
No, bad at those. Don't know. Can't.
Is like that Mario the Kart thing 64. You think you would do best at? Is Mario Kart 8?
Yeah.
Are you going to do single race? You can do a course.
Grand Prix. One Grand Prix.
What CC?
150.
Okay.
Yeah.
You play on those higher CCs ever?
200. Wild. It's too fast. It's too fast.
Yeah.
I would need to play a lot.
You'd need to know the maps.
Yeah.
It's like I'm playing Mario Kart. I'm not trying to play F-Zero.
You just need to drifting and everything needs to be so precise. 150cc is the only way to fly, in my opinion.
I think Mario's got a little too much drift requirement, in my opinion. I think drift has become too large a component of the game.
It is the component of the game. That's why it's so great. I love it. Yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe would be my answer. Like I think I have legitimately, out of everything, the best chance with that one.
Mine's got to be Smash, but I think it might be Smash Melee. Although it might be Perfect Dark.
Is there a competitive way to play that against aliens?
Head-to-head, Perfect Dark.
Okay. It's
just like a Slayer match.
They have multiplayer in that one?
Yeah, they have bots in it. You can have up to 12 bots and 4 human players.
Holy shit.
And they had like all these different actually, I think it supported LAN. I think you might have been able to do 8 players. There was some like advanced thing you could do. It was crazy for multiplayer on the fucking N64. They actually came out with a really great Perfect Dark, fucking great game. Great improvement on the James Bond engine. They came out with a 360 version of it. They did an HD remake of it. And then
yes, they did.
They put out another patch. So now it will play in 4K. And it does,
the auto boost.
Yeah, it does the HDR as well and everything. Yeah, so now, like it looks like amazing for a 360 remake of an N64 game.
Trippy.
It's pretty wild. But yeah, that's a
There
fun
you go.
one.
Perfect talk / maybe smash.
Psych Mike wanted to add, assume these aliens are nerds, don't have any real firearms. Why bother wasting us? Waste time with blah blah blah. They could just laser us, build their condos. It's at that point, hit the alien with a broom and they surrender. This way you don't even. Oh, I see. Psych Mike's come up with like a little RPG as to. Psych Mike seems like they would be great for the Avatar or just for like a D&D.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah. But they said Battletanks Global Assault for the N64. It's a plausible answer. Tom, have you ever played Battletanks Global Assault?
No.
It is got to be one of my like top 10 N64 games to play. It is so the multiplayer in that game is so much fun. You're just tank combat. It's tank v tank combat. But I
figured
Mario Kart style power ups. So it's like instead of just your regular
drifting?
shot, there is one that has like a thrust. So there is like a thrust engine on it that acts very much like the drift because it's like, you know, you get like a boost, a very quick, a rapid boost. But then there's just like the strength of your shot is better, but there's one where you can like rain hellfire down and you could set like electric mines and they're pretty wild. It's pretty cool. There's like a nuke, I think, that you can get that just wipes out everything. Oh, very good. Very good N64 game. We got a voicemail from 805-738-8692.
I wonder who this could be.
So Alex called us last week while we were recording because he couldn't be on. And we didn't play it, so I'm going to play that.
Oh, that is okay.
Yo, it's Tuna Targaryen here. Fresh off a failed podcast attempt, playing charades with Christian. Also watching Chris and Tom fail at opening a bottle of bubbly was interesting. Anyway,
that was tough.
The boys and I had a great time with the
girls had broken the cork already.
6 hours that we had together. We played Smash. Tom didn't get to play, but we played Smash local.
It's just
such a fun time.
This is a summary of last episode. If you didn't
so much fun to play Smash. We could just play match after match after match. Played some darts in my basement. Had some big daddies here on Long Island. Cajun plate.
We did have big daddies.
Ate a bunch of food. Drank a bunch of beers. And had a great time.
We had a couple. Yeah.
Been not feeling the love lately from the listeners. Haven't gotten a message in a while on any platform.
Oh.
So drop me a line. And drop me a line. That's so lame. Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, fuck it. Bye.
There we are. Slater's gonna love this.
Oh, he's gonna bamboozle him with
there's more
messages and okay, here we go.
So he called back again on Sunday. So now this is new for this week. So this was just
wow, this is a couple of
4 days ago.
Yeah, a couple of days after this call.
So I was thinking, you know what's interesting about this voicemail message? When you listen to it, it sounds like I'm calling into movie phone. Got that like sound that I'm calling into movie phone. Anyway, I saw something online that somebody working at a grocery store was ranting that they don't like when people ask them where things are because there's signs that tell you where things are. However, today I was trying to find a specific brand of mustard in the grocery store. I went to the condiment aisle where you would think the mustards are. The mustards were all there. There were tons of mustard except this one brand, which, according to the website, they have. So I almost walked out of the store, but then I said, you know what? Let me go check the deli section. Lo and behold, there it was, the mustard that I had been looking for just randomly in the deli section. I get that you put mustard on sandwiches, but if you're going to have mustard in your store, put it with the other mustards. They want to be together. I don't want to go over to the other section.
They want to be together.
Oh, wait, there's mustard that wasn't over. Or have them in both places. Have them over there and with the regular mustard.
Have them in both places.
Don't separate. Keep it together. Fuck.
Feels like he's talking to himself at the end there.
Tom, I'm just picturing Alex like he's in the car. He just left the grocery store, and he's like, "Oh, this is great. This is like this is like therapy for me."
This is about a minute later. I'm calling back again because I just realized venting and getting all that out to a voicemail that isn't going to ask me questions or play devil's advocate or be annoying. was very therapeutic. I might start doing this.
There you
just
go.
calling in and just ranting on this voicemail.
I haven't
just saying whatever the hell I want. Just dump it all out. It's great. I encourage other people to do this. This is really nice. Therapeutic as fuck. All right. Fair.
Well, if you want to call it, it's 805-738-86.
If you want some therapy, if you want some unranked therapy, there's your voicemail for you. Just to rant.
I mean, we just got a secret complaint. There's no real question there. I think we just call it, Tom.
That's brilliant.
I think that was a great little episode.
All right.
Thank you all so much for listening. Check out our Spartan program. If you don't know what that is, that's in our Discord. It gets you access to our live streams. I mean, we just did a special live one for Tom's game that we're doing for our avatar tabletop RPG. Tom, a few seconds.
Yeah, go check out the Spartan program. The condensed version of our prologue will be up on our YouTube, youtube.com/Unranked podcast. And this Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern, once the session is over, we will be doing our first full chapter. So we'll see you then, and stay unranked.
And suck it.